I've tried so many milk teas and lattes from different cafes and boba shops, and some of my absolute favorites aren't even on the menus. So today, I'm going to show you 7 of my go-to recipes, from classics to some of my personal blends that you probably won't find anywhere. Let's go ahead and get started. Today, I'm going to be making 2 drinks. One of them is going to be a matcha latte / matcha milk tea, whatever you guys like to call it, and the other is going to be cacao milk tea. And I personally like to use cacao more than I like to use cocoa because I believe this is like the raw, unfiltered, cold-pressed version of cocoa, and I like that it's a little more bitter, so it's actually up to you whether you want to use cocoa powder or cacao powder. Just know that I think cacao powder, I think, has a little more like metabolism boosting or something like that. So I also prefer that, especially if I have to exercise that day. So let's actually start with matcha. I know a lot of people really like matcha, and I personally also really like matcha. I don't have like exact measurements for you guys. It's gonna be more like depending on what you guys like. I personally like really, really strong matcha, so I'll do like extra. I use like one of these spoons. It's really small, and I do about 2 scoops. It's very eyeballing for me. So next thing that I add is a little bit of hot water just to kind of let the matcha melt. If you have a matcha whisk at home, of course, that's the best to use, but because I assume most people don't actually have whisks, I'm not going to use a whisk. And the next available thing you can use is if you have one of these hand mixers. I usually like to use this. Next thing I want to talk about is the sugar. I personally think adding a little bit of condensed milk actually tastes a little better if you do decide on sugar, but I am a no sugar person with especially my matcha, so I'm just showing you this. I'm not actually going to add it in. If you do decide to add sugar, add it before you add the water and before you mix. Choice of milk, you can honestly do any type of milk you want, but I did notice that either whole milk or oat milk tastes the best with matcha, so it is something that I think you guys should try. And honestly, since the milk is coming from the fridge, it is going to make it cold enough. And there you go, a very nicely made matcha. I love the bitterness. I love it so much. And because I'm making 2 drinks today, I'm actually going to give this to my mom because she actually really likes this too. This next drink on the list is a cacao milk tea or a cacao latte, whatever you'd like to call it. You can also use cocoa powder. So in just a small cup like this, I do 2 large like scoops of it. Water. Honestly, just enough to mix it. Now it just looks like rich dark chocolate. There's another sugar you can add if you want more chocolatey flavor. If you don't mind adding sugar, is like Hershey's chocolate syrup. A lot of people actually also like to add that for the extra flavor. Finally, for this one, my choice of milk is whole milk. Ta-da! Cacao, or you can even call it dark chocolate milk tea / dark chocolate latte, whatever you like to call it. It actually tastes more like a dark chocolate milk, and I don't know. It's just really good. On to the next drink. So the drink I'm going to be making today is a Hojicha Milk Tea. Now that I got my glass of hot water, we're going to put the tea bag in. I have tried this Hojicha with whole milk and oat milk. I personally think it tastes better with oat milk. It's the same as when I do matcha. I feel like it tastes better with oat milk. It's just, I think the taste of the oat milk kind of just, they clash better with like the green tea, and Hojicha is really just like a roasted version of like green tea. I will also keep the tea bag on the side because technically you can use it again. Also, again, if you want cold, just add ice. And then this drink is done. It's so delicious. This one, if you like roasted tea, this one is gonna be probably your favorite. If you like the milk a little stronger, then of course do like more milk. If you like the tea more stronger, of course do more tea. So it's finally time for the drink that I haven't seen sold anywhere, at least in any of the boba shops that I've ever went to. Let's start making it. I'm actually really excited because this was one of my favorite drinks. Okay, so this drink that I'm going to be making today is the Canadian Maple Milk Tea. I don't know if you guys had like Canadian maple like tea before, but it smells really, really good. So it's a tea bag, and I'm just going to add water into here. Just FYI, I like this drink warm, so if you like it cold, you can always just add ice. I also like whole milk, and I just fill it all the way. And then basically the Canadian maple milk tea is done. It's very like rich and smooth. It kind of feels a little thick. Like the tea itself already actually feels a little thick and it's really, really smooth. So I like highly recommend you guys try making this like Canadian maple milk tea. And as I said, normally I wouldn't add the maple syrup, but I will today for you guys. I'm just gonna add a little bit. With the slight sweetness from the maple syrup actually tastes really, really good. I wouldn't recommend adding too much of the sugar, like the syrup though, because it will kind of overtake or overpower the tea. But if you like a little bit of sugar and you like your drinks a little sweet, adding a little bit of the maple syrup makes it just a tad even better. For today's drink, we're going to be making the butterfly pea jasmine milk tea, also known as the blue latte or blue milk tea. So this one is going to take a little bit more work because we have basically loose leaf. This is my butterfly pea. Actually, it took me a while to find out where to buy this because for some reason I wasn't able to find it anywhere. You don't need to add much. And then I'm doing jasmine tea. Honestly, you can do tea of your choice. And also with the amount of jasmine tea that you want to add in here, it really just depends on how strong you want your tea. So I personally like my tea a little stronger and I will add much more. And the butterfly pea leaves honestly is really just for the color. And like, I know it also has like its goods for as like nutrition, but it's really just for the color, I feel like, because if you add too much into the drink, it actually is going to make your milk tea taste weird. And as you can see, it immediately actually turns the drink blue-green. And now you can actually see that it's even bluer than at first. So now that it's about ready, we're actually going to have to filter out all the leaves because it's loose leaf. And this is why I recommend using a cup that allows you to pour to seep this tea. It's also so it's easier for you to filter. So let's filter. Watch the magic. I'm gonna do it like right in front of the camera so you guys can see how beautiful this drink is. You know what, this is actually perfect for like Halloween, I think, because this does not look crazy. This does look crazy. Take a look at that. Oh my gosh. I'll show you guys from bird's eye view. Look at that. It's like really nice pastel baby blue. This is like one of the most colorful drinks I will be making besides the matcha. The most weird colored milk tea, I would say, but honestly, I love it. So to level up from the classic matcha latte that I have showed you already, I'm going to actually be making the jasmine matcha today. And where did I get this idea from is because that was one of the drinks that I got from a place called Molly Tea in the past. Anyways, I'm actually going to try to make it myself this time. It's going to consist of actually loose leaf as well. So this is going to be one of those drinks where it's going to require the extra step of filtering out leaves. Of course, you can also use like jasmine milk tea packets, so they don't have to be loose leaves. It's just I have the loose leaf version, so I'm just going to use this one. Now, up next is going to be... Ooh, I'm actually running out of this matcha. And to be honest, I really don't add that much water to my powders because I would prefer that it's actually like milk. This is definitely not enough matcha. Thankfully, I have more matcha, so I'm gonna go grab the other one. This is gonna be a different brand though, so it's probably gonna like blend a little bit. All right, so now that this part is done, the next step for me is really just to filter this out. Woo! That's good enough. Ta-da! Isn't that not pretty? Ooh. Okay. This is really good. Actually, this is pretty close to the one I taste at Molly Tea. Not gonna lie. It's pretty close. I'm really proud of myself. Anyways, this is the Matcha Jasmine Milk Tea. Just know that the better the jasmine green tea is, the less like tea bitterness you are going to taste. This last milk tea that I'm going to share with you guys is actually one that I like to drink, especially when I'm on my period, because it actually helps with my like cramps and all of that stuff. But anyways, this is a little more towards like a more like Chinese herbal type of milk tea, and I'm like ready to show you guys what this is. It's very easy. It's really just 3 different things. You're gonna need roses. This is like rose tea. You're going to need this. These are, I think, red dates. These ones are, they're cut in pieces, and I really would recommend that you use these. And if you have the whole ones with the seed inside, take out the seed. And then this is also mulberry fruit tea, and these are just dried mulberry. Honestly, there's no saying how much of each you would like to put in there. I'll put some in there. I like to put a little bit of extra in there because it also adds a little bit of sweetness without having to add sugar. And the mulberries actually give the purplish tint, and I like to just dump a couple in there. And I just kind of let it sit. And as you can see, this tea is actually turning like pinkish purple. So eventually this milk, like when you add milk in there, it is going to change colors. Personally, I like to just leave this in the hot water for longer or put it over the stove. Now that this has been sitting here for quite a few minutes, I'm going to, once again, pull out my handy dandy filter. As you can see, it's already this color. And my choice of milk is whole milk. Once again, I think this one tastes best with whole milk. It's best actually to use whole milk instead of oat milk, but of course only if you tolerate like that. And it turns purple. It's a really light lavender purple. It's like not doing it justice on the camera, but this is a light like purple string on my phone, and it's exactly the color that it looks like. I love this one. My only thing is I think it tastes a lot better if you actually put it over the stove. It helps the red dates really get out the flavoring, and it also helps the mulberry also get out some of that sweet flavoring. No like unnatural food coloring or anything in here. It's all like naturally coming from the rose, the red date, and the mulberry. Actually, I think most of the color comes from the mulberry. Anyways, this is the rose mulberry red date tea, the Chinese herbal milk tea that I really like. But this basically wraps up the video of making milk teas from classics to my own little special twists that you might not be able to find anywhere in the stores. I hope maybe you can find something you like in here too, or like you would like to try some of these recipes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like, comment, and or subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!